looking for something more boxy because that's the style you prefer, that's a dining seat that would just basically look more like that. I call this the side banding, is the boxing. Okay, and you cut a band long enough to be able to sew it all the way around. With something like this on a frame like this, you won't be able to roll all that fabric in a stapler on the bottom. You're gonna have to put one type of seam. The only thing that you're actually able to wrap around this is leather because it stretches so much. But let's say you're trying to upholster this with just fabric, unless you put some huge pleats in the corner, you're gonna find out that you're gonna gather a ton of material right on the corners of that dining seat. So that's when you might just decide to put a seam all the way around.
Which direction? Leather stretches more in one direction. Which direction is that?
Leather is just like our skin, goes in every direction. It just stretches it. And every hide and every part within the hide might stretch differently. That's all it is. But what it happens is not that there's a direction, is that in the belly area is what? That's when there's more. That's more fat, and that's when it tends to stretch more. In the very center, on the backbone, that's where it might be the toughest, or even the neck area is when it's really hard to stretch it. But it will stretch in every direction. It's just that in areas of the hide, it will stretch differently. So you gotta be careful if you decide to buy a hide. You want to stay. So. Okay. This is the best area. This is the backbone, and this will be the belly of the hide. When you have this little curvature right here, it tells you that right there that's the neck. So your best area on the hide is always from the center out. That's why it's so expensive to do anything in leather, because there's a lot of waste. I tend to use this if I'm gonna use it on the sides. On the side of the cushion, if I'm doing a cushion, I will use that on a zipper. But these areas right here, if you're gonna use it to do a pullover seat, I wouldn't get too close to those edges because you see it, you look at it, you inspect the hide and everything looks good. You bring it down to the dining seat, and when you're stretching it out, you start seeing all the stretch marks come out. And then there's no dye that went in there. So you wanna avoid those areas for those particular applications. And this is your main area of cutting. You can still use this, the neck is fine. But like I said, it only tends to be harder, but there's nothing wrong. In the areas around the edges, you're gonna find either the branding or a lot of cuts or a lot of marks. It's because, right, that's when they go on the floor or they scratch against the barbed wire. There's a company, Italian company, promise every hide is like over $1,000. There's no marks or cuts on the sides, but even their fencing is out of electrical wire. So they don't even cut this up or do anything. They pamper those things like the little babies. Yeah, exactly. So this is the best area to get any of your cuts. But that way also you're gonna get a lot of waste. So you gotta budget for that.